have a question about getting back with an ex.
Okay.
So I broke up with my ex, but we got back together, and the reasons why we broke up are still there though, and we're just like pretending that like it's not there anymore. Like the reason why we broke up is because we're not equally yoked, like as far as religion goes. Because I'm a Christian and I
Mm-hmm.
believe in God, and I started losing my faith, and I had this like deep discussion with her. I was telling her that I'm sorry to lose my faith. I'm sorry. Like this has nothing to do with you. Like it's everything to do with me. Like my faith is very important, and I have to end things here. I'm sorry, but we got back together. But it's like still the same thing. Like she's still an atheist, and she doesn't want to go to church with me. But the thing is that I love her. Like I actually love this woman. Like we're like a perfect match for each other. It's like everything is perfect, but the thing is that we're not equally yoked because she's an atheist and I'm a Christian, and I still believe in God.
Right.
But I'm like starting to lose my faith though. I had to break up with her because whenever I would pray, it felt like nobody was listening to me. So and I told her that I was like, whenever I pray, and I feel like nobody's listening. And this all started happening like after I started dating you, and it's not your fault. Like it's more of a me thing.
Right. So what's the question here, boss man?
What do you think about like getting back with your ex and the reasons why you broke up are still there?
Right. It's funny you say that because that's the reason why I tell people to not get back with their ex, right? Because you break up for a reason. You break up essentially because there's a problem and you don't know how to solve the problem. You either don't know or are unwilling to, right? Then after you break up, you miss the person. So the new problem is I miss the person. And you can solve that problem. And you solve that problem by getting back together. When you do that, the old problem is still there, right? And you don't magically now have the tools to solve the problem because if you did, you wouldn't have broken up in the first place.
And that is. Oh wait, go ahead.
Yeah. So, solution is to break up again, right? Because again, you don't magically have the solution. You can't allow the feelings of missing the person to uh, force you to make a bad decision. You know, so you're not equally yoked, and your faith is important to you, and being with this person is actively causing you to lose your faith, and that's important to you. Then you probably should not be with that person.
I just it's hard. It's definitely hard because I'm breaking up with her only because she's atheist. It feels like that's discrimination at some point, but I don't know.
No, it's. I mean, if you're a man of faith, then you're like all in, all out, right? And
I could say that, yeah.
right. So that means that the biblically speaking, they tell you to be equally yoked. Like this is inherently a compatibility issue. It's not compatibility is essentially how much friction is going to be present in this relationship if we're together, right? The more
Yeah.
compatible you are, the less friction you're going to experience because you're going to be able to be on the same page. When you have this big of a difference, it's going to be very hard to be together because you have fundamentally different worldviews. You perceive reality differently.
There's there's two words that you said. You used the word big and you used the word fundamentally. To be honest with you, for some reason, I in my head, in the back of my head, the reason why I got back with her is because I don't view it as a huge, like, tremendous difference. You know what? Like, I don't view it as something big. Like, I view it as just a difference. And I tell myself, like, what I tell myself is that nobody is going to be, like, totally perfect for me. Like, I don't think that that exists, right? Like, there's nobody out there that's at 100% perfect for you.
Yes, but compatibility, that's true, but that doesn't apply to this situation. You're trying to find a reason to stay in the relationship. I'll give you an example, right? This is another way to view compatibility. Let's say you want kids, but the person you're with doesn't. It's not going to work. One person is going to resent the other person. If you're firm on having kids and the other person is firm on not having kids, you got a big problem, right? It's a lot of friction, and it
I
leads
see.
to one person not getting what they want to sacrifice that for the relationship, and then they'll just end up resenting the other person that they're with. So the only time I see the main times I see when people are who have different faiths getting together is because one or both parties isn't really serious about their faith. So it doesn't make a big difference to be with someone who isn't of the same faith.
See, I see what you're saying. Like there might be only one difference, but it could be big, and that's enough. That's enough to make the relationship be a failure. There's just one big difference.
Yeah.
What about a minor difference? Like, what would be a minor difference that somebody could you could tell somebody that that's fine, that that's a minor difference. Like that's you guys are gonna be good.
Like, let's say one person is like vegan and the other person is not. There's ways you can get around that. That's not that big of a deal, you know. Or vegetarian. Let's not say vegan because vegans tend to take they're a little bit more serious. But let's say one's a vegetarian and one isn't. It's like, okay, that can work. Like you just eat your plants, right? You go outside and graze, and I'll go ahead and cook a steak real quick, right? So that's easily there's an easy pathway for both parties to get what they want in that situation, right? Um, one person likes jazz and the other person doesn't. Correct. So that's going to be something that's more of a minor difference. You're describing a big difference, and you've already experienced, like, if you say you're a man of faith, you know about the fruit, right? So you're basically telling me the fruit of y'all being together is you lose your faith.
And well, starting to.
Starting
Like I
to
said,
lose your faith. Yeah.
starting to. And I don't know if it was her. Like I didn't blame her. I said this is more of a me thing. Like I'm just trying to regain my faith, and I believe that I got to surround myself by people who are equally yoked.
Exactly,
And
because when you are if you were with a woman who shared the same faith as you, if you were starting to lose your faith and question things, she could pick you up during that down point, right? You could lean on her faith in that situation. You see what I'm saying? There will be a person to remind you of the goodness of God and like the things that He's done for you to kind of reinvigorate your faith. You're in a situation where if you start to lose your faith, the other person is like, yes, lose more of it because it's not real, right? It's not an ideal situation.
now, the last question I have before I drop is I've obviously made a big mistake, like getting back with somebody that I love, and I have to break up with somebody that I love. Like, have you ever done that? Like, have you ever had to break up with somebody you were in love with, like that you absolutely loved, and to them it seems silly why you're breaking up with them? Because to them it's just like a small difference. Like for her, it's a very small difference that we have. Like she thinks that me being a Christian and her being atheist is very small. Like she thinks that like it's almost non-existent. Like to her, it's like nothing big. But for me, it's huge. Like, how do you even go about doing that?
You just have to do it, brother. Like you got to rip the band-aid off. I would say a lot of people who break up are breaking up with people who they actually still care about and love, but there is a legitimate reason to do it. You just have to move on with your life, you know?
That's the hardest part. It's like it's not like being walked away from. I think it's harder to walk away from somebody.
It is, but you got to do hard things in life. You know what I mean?
And yeah, and I do appreciate your wisdom. You're a very wise man. I gave you a follow like about like 2 nights ago, I think. But I'm gonna go ahead and drop. Maybe somebody else needs your advice.
All right, brother. Well, best of luck to you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Mods, is that where my mods at? Hannah, are we in the building? Cece, we in the building? Express, Eva. I need my mods to check in real quick. I got a question. If you're here, okay. That's not the same person who was like, she's the peanut butter to my jelly. The voice sounded similar. The questions even followed a similar pattern to me. You know what I'm talking about? Confirm, yay or nay, in the chat. Just curious. Or if anyone remembers that caller who called in. All right, all right. Okay, who we got next? I don't think anyone knows what I'm talking about either. Commander, what's going on?
Hey man, how's it been? Long time no speak, huh?
Yes, sir. Well, how you doing?
Not much, not much. I wanted to get your opinion on something. I think I might be reading into this a little too much, but opinions are appreciated. So I wanted to get your opinion on this one situation. So
Sure.
about, I would say, 2 months ago, I met this girl, and essentially we had very good text conversations for a while. Not actual like phone text conversations. I matched with her on Hinge, and what happened was after I think about, I would say maybe 2.5 weeks of talking, essentially what happened was, or at least this is what she told me, she didn't use the app for a long period of time since she's traveling. She's visiting her family overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of the blue, this is like when I thought everything was done, it was over, I moved on. She sent me a message last Saturday asking to reconnect. And I sent her my phone number for her to make the move whenever she's comfortable. So that way there's no pressure on her side. And what happened was she decided to go the Instagram route over the text message route. And then I added her on Instagram. We're still talking till this day. No problems, no issues there. And she's very communicative. She agreed to go on a date with me when she gets back home. So I think what I'm trying to ask is she agreeing or talking with me again because she actually did not talk with me on purpose because she was talking to somebody else and that didn't follow through, or is she actually telling the truth and she just didn't have communication up until
Okay.
that
I
point?
got kind of lost at certain points in the story. So y'all met originally on a date now?
Yeah.
Okay. And then what happened? Like you tried to ask her on a date and then she just didn't. She stopped responding?
Well, she agreed to go on a date, but the thing was she was overseas
Okay.
and still is currently. But she agreed to go on a date when she came back. But what happened was I tried to go the text message route so that way we can just get off the app,
Right.
and she was resistant to that. And then she didn't have communication with me after about a little more conversations after that. And then out of the blue, she randomly sent me a message last Saturday asking to reconnect. So what I'm saying is she doing that because she met someone else and then that didn't follow through, so I became like the backup,
Is she still
or
o-
did she actually,
is she
or are her intentions actually true?
is she still overseas right now?
Yeah, she says she'll be back in 3 weeks.
Okay. So before things kind of fell apart, what was the last thing that y'all talked about?
Trying to remember. Here actually.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a problem to me.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, if I remember correctly, essentially I think we were just talking about, I think something like really innocent, something like music taste or something like that. Nothing anything too crazy or complicated,
Right.
or just like we were trying to get to know each other on the app. So we were talking about what are your hobbies, what do you like to do in your free time, things
Right.
like that. And then at some point, that's when communication stopped. And then what I did was I said, hey, whenever you're free, let me know when you get back. Here's my phone number. Text me when you can, and that's it. I didn't send her any more messages after that,
Okay.
and I just said, let me know when you're back, and we'll go on a date. And then no response, and then that's when I heard back on Saturday that she just randomly just texted me from the app. He's like, hey, sorry, I was super busy, got rid of the app. Let's connect on Instagram, and then I'll give you my number from there. That's what she said.
Okay. And she's overseas where?
Germany.
She's in Germany. Okay. And you're where? You're in the US, right?
DC area,
Okay.
obviously.
Yeah, I should have looked at the profile pic. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I mean, I don't really see a problem here, bro. I can't really tell you for certain what the situation is, um, because she's overseas. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
like she's actively dating someone. The only I'm thing that I don't understand is like why she is matching with people in DC 3 weeks out before she returns. Like, why not match with people in Germany? That's what a
Yeah.
lot of people do, right?
Yeah, I know. And she told me that she basically like was like completely like cut off from it. And then what happened was, here's the funny thing. We still were on the match page on the dating app. And then what happened was a few days after she said that she came back and wasn't using it, she updated her profile with new pictures, new prompts, new messages. So like she like revamped her whole thing, essentially. So like it definitely was like, yeah, she was not using it for a while, essentially. But the problem, or I think guess what I'm trying to get at is, she even told me that when she gets back home, meaning back to the States, right after she gets back, she's going back on another trip. Like she's leaving again. And I'm like, well, are we gonna have time to actually go out on a date if you're gonna be gone right when you get back? And she said, yeah, like there will be time.
Yeah. I mean, you can try it, bro, but it's the problem that I'm going to is it's just always a bad with women on dating apps.
Yeah.
The goal is to make the date happen ASAP.
Yeah,
So
that's
much.
exactly what I tried to do first.
Yeah,
So I
so
tried
much.
to
So
get the
much can
number.
change.
Let's get off this app. Let's plan
Right.
something. Let's go. And then that's when resistance was happening. Like, no, I'm out of state. I'm out of country. I don't give my number out that quickly. Let's talk first. Let's get to know each other. And that's basically her excuses. And essentially, when she told me that she's going to be back, she said, "Oh yeah, when I come back in 3 weeks, I'll be back for a while, but then I'm gonna leave again and go south. So I'll be gone for that time." And I'm like, "Well, if you're gone, are we gonna have time to actually
And
go
she's
out with
and
each
she's
other?"
and she's verified on Hinge.
Yeah, she's verified on Hinge. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Sounds to me like she's out there for validation. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Probably.
It sounds like a validation play. This doesn't like she's updating her pictures. She's trying to get matches. You feel me? Like so
Yeah.
she's updating her pictures. Cool. People tend to do that when emotions slow down a little bit. She's trying to get matches. She's in DC. DC's heavily populated. You're not the only person she's matched with. Um, she hasn't met you at all, right? And
Yeah.
then she's creating boundaries around you having personal access to her. So it's like this sounds like a validation play. Let me just see who I can match with. I'm bored.
Yeah.
Maybe she don't know anybody in Germany, so it's like, you know what I mean? Just let me just talk to people in the meantime. 3 weeks out too is like a weird, like if you have any experience with dating apps, you already know. If it's gonna be 3 weeks, if we match and I'm not gonna be able to date you till 3 weeks, that date's not happening.
I know. And the
It's
funny
not
thing is,
happening.
we matched back in like early February. And even then, like there's like so much time in between. And even time, like I said, like once she cut communication, first off, I let it go.
Right.
Like I didn't send her anything else. I never mentioned anything or did anything.
Right.
And then out of the blue, she just sends me this message on Saturday asking to reconnect. So I'm like, okay, why not? And then basically, like the problem that I was having was I'm just trying to make sure I'm not a backup, or like she's treating me like one, like or if she's just bored. It's like what you're saying, or if they're for validate.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be thinking about the backup aspect of things because it's like you're never gonna know that first of all, and there's nothing about this that's like backup. She's not in. That would make sense if she was in DC and she stopped talking to you, right? She was in DC and she stopped talking to you, and then she just randomly came back. Okay, that makes sense. Something fell through. Now she's going to the number two slot, right? She's not even in the country, so the whole backup option isn't even. She probably just was bored, got up here, talked to you, talked to other people, and then she got validated, so she left, and she needed validation again, so she came back. So it's like, I just don't think it's something that's going to happen. But also, what is your goal? Like, is your goal a relationship? Like, how are you thinking about this?
So, like, my goal at the end of the day is I just want to be, like, just being out there. So, what I want is to, have a good connection with someone and, go on a couple of dates with them. If it leads to a relationship, then I welcome it. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul, then
Okay.
I'll just move on. So, I'm not, like, actively looking for a relationship, if that makes sense. If it
Gotcha.
happens organically, then I would welcome it with open arms, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. So that's basically how like my mindset is at the moment.
Yeah, I would deprioritize this because there's too much friction. Like, even the whole, like, do it for the plot angle, she's going to come back and then leave immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're not even going to see her enough to really, like, experience her. You may get one date out of here. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah,
You see her once.
like one date, no harm, no foul. Like I could care less. That's fine with me. You
Okay.
know. But at the same time, it's not like I'm actively like wanting her to commit to anything. That's not the case at all. It's just I'm just trying to see what her angle is essentially because it's like one of those too good to be true type things that just happen, and I just want to know like
Oh,
is it
so
actually
she's
too
a
good to be true,
so she's
or
a so
is it just
she's a
something
baddie.
else? Mhm.
She's a baddie. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, you could say that.
This makes more sense because I'm like, what are we talking about? Oh, she's bad. All right, so this is like, so y'all both want validation in this situation. See what's going on here. So okay, no judgment. You know, we've all done it, but
Sure.
uh, yeah, I mean, you can try to play it out, but I wouldn't. These type of situations are very tricky, my man,
Yeah.
because you're already asking her like first date questions on Hinge. So you can bleed out the attraction if you just
Mm.
start talking about any and everything for like 3 weeks is a long time, and you can't be
Yeah.
talking to her daily from a Hinge
Yeah,
connection, bro.
and I'm already at the same time like I'm already going out with my boys every Saturday and
Right.
Sunday anyway.
In
So
addition to
I'm
that,
already
in
yeah, and
addition
I'm
to that,
already going to like talk and meet other people.
cool. Okay.
Like there's definitely already been other people that I've talked to like between the time that she disconnected with me and then connected with me again. There's
Gotcha.
definitely people I've spoken to and had other conversations with. So it's not like I'm losing anything.
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out what her angle is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so far is validation. I mean, if you perceive her to be out of your league, then that makes me question the validation piece, honestly.
Mm. No, I don't do a whole league out of my league situation thing. I never got that. I never did. So
Okay.
I just don't. That's not like a thing that I have in my mind or cooperate with. I know some people might have that, but that's just not how I'm wired for the most part.
That's fair. Okay. Well, yeah, I can't tell you. There's not enough data here. All I can say with a good amount of certainty is that the date is likely not going to happen. She's updating her pictures after she connected with you. Then she is um, still shopping. So,
Yeah, exactly.
so yeah, I mean, let me know. Keep me posted on how it goes. I'll be curious to see how it plays out for you. Hopefully, the date does happen, though.
Yeah, no problem. And then, I mean, the funny thing was, I'll leave you with this. This was sort of like a oh shit kind of moment, excuse my language. But when she mentioned the places that she's going to, I'm like, okay, it's time to lock it up. It's over.
What place is she going to?
She's going to Miami and then Atlanta right after.
Oh, yeah. This is
It's over.
curtains. Curtains on this bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Drake's going to hit that.
Oh
So,
my god, no, I'm serious, bro. It's
yeah.
insane.
I mean,
But yeah, man,
hopefully.
I'll keep you posted with anything. I'll let you know, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
All right, brother. Be easy.
All right. Take care, my man. See you later. Appreciate it.
Who said she's selling it? Very possible. Very possible. Because, like, what do you do for a living? How are you traveling? Like, just perpetually just traveling? Just different hotels? Normally. More people are selling it than you think. Let's just say that. Mm. Yeah, more people are selling it than you think. You went, and now I'm down a whole nother pathway. Okay, anyway, the call's over. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Well, I have a question. Okay, so I am dating someone currently, and
Mm-hmm.
in the process of it, I've been through a few things, and I've healed from those things. So, you know, he was healed. When I came to him, he seemed healed and everything like that. And I'm very aware that sometimes you don't know you have triggers until you actually back in a relationship after a long period of time of being by yourself.
Right.
So he has a lot of, I guess you want to call it like little triggers. One, he's used to being by himself, so he's not used to like the whole relationship kind of dating scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then he has this thing where he's like, we go out to do things, and it's most like things like he wants to do, and it's fine, because I'm not a hard person to please. So as long as we're spending time together, I'm fine, I'm cool. But then when it's something that I want to do, like I want to do this, and he's like, I don't do that. I'm too old to do this, or I don't do this because I've done this already, or I don't do this because I've done this already. So I'm trying to be, understanding
Mm-hmm.
because, everybody has certain places in their lives. You haven't dated in a while. And so, this is new. There is an age difference. like by 12 years. We're 12 years apart. I'm the youngest. He's the
Okay.
oldest. So, in ways he kind of downplays certain things that I want to do. And he's like, oh, well, that's what, people of this age, y'all's age group does, and da 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 da. And I'm telling him, you need to open up because the things that you used to do, that was when you were younger. I don't even do those kind of things that you used to do, but I just want to do this. He won't go to certain cities because he said he's been there already. He won't go. It's just certain things. It's like a lot of don'ts that he don't do. And in one case, it's fine because I'm a homebody. There's a lot of things I don't do, and it doesn't matter. We share a lot of similar interests, like, mountains, beaches, stuff like that. But it's kind of like he's scared. But then again, it's kind of like he don't want to do nothing. Like he kind of not sure. It's like a trial period. But then he's like made emotions or made states to emotions like about love and care and certain situations. If I call him, he comes. I had a flat tire before he came. He needed.
What's the age gap? 12 years.
Together, yeah, like, something like that. Like
Okay.
it's just kind of weird. I don't know. It's like I'm waiting and being patient because he hasn't dated that long. I was like, I'd be patient, but if I'm be patient, am I still going to get what I want at the end of it? If that makes sense. And see, I'm 41 and he's 53.
Oh man. Okay. So, what's your question here, love?
So, do you think it's something that I should just sit down and speak with him about and think like it's not going to work out, or should I just be patient because I do move like fairly fast and things, and sometimes I am my own worst enemy? Is it possible that a man can just need that time and take a while to get to those stages where he's willing to open up and allow you to be the new thing in his life as opposed to his past? Or is he just too old to be trying to teach new old dog new tricks?
How long have y'all been dating?
Since October of last year.
Are y'all in a relationship?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so y'all been in a relationship since October of last year?
No, we started talking in October and we made it official in December.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. How'd y'all meet?
We actually met in a store. We was at a Dollar Tree.
All right.
Hmm.
Okay. Got specific with the Dollar Tree. All right. Nice. Nice. Hey, on the budget. I feel you. Okay. So, um, and the main issue here is like he just is turning down everything.
He turns down everything.
Okay.
And then when I did mention it to him, because I'm a very transparent person, I was like, everything I do, you turn down. I was like, are you just unsure? Does my age scare you? I was like, but you already knew that before we entered into it.
Exactly.
And I like to ask a lot of questions. And he's like, you ask a whole lot of questions, just be patient one day at a time. But
Okay.
I have to have the answers right then and there. I need to know what we're doing so we don't waste time.
Okay. Was he that way when y'all were in the dating phase?
I mean, he actually initiated. He's like, you want to go on a date? You want to go here? You want to do this? And we would. And then our schedule kind of got between us because we both had little goals and things that we're trying to reach. So it kind of got in between. But it's more so like he don't really take the initiative. He's not the romantic type, kind of like.
So he was initiating dates when y'all were just dating, but in a relationship, is he still initiating like any kind of dates or going out together?
Mm, no, not really. But I know he has a goal that he's trying to get to, and I understand that. And it's more so like work. But then I feel like you should
Nope.
still make that certain time.
Exactly. No, that's not. No, if he knows to take you out while dating, then he also knows to take you out in a relationship. Okay, so this is a decision that he's making. So you said that he's been single for a long time. How long has he been single?
He's been single for about, I want to say, when did he say? Probably about 5 or 6 years.
Okay. You know how long his longest relationship was?
Um, It was the first mother of his child, of his 18-year-old,
Okay.
of his oldest. Yeah, they were together for a while.
What's a while?
Um, let's see. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I get bored easily. I get aggravated. I lose focus. I think they were about 12, 13, 12 years. They were engaged at some point.
Okay. So if he does not change and he stays exactly the same way throughout the entire relationship, is that somebody that you want to be with?
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, then you know what you got to do because he's not changing, love. This is who he is.
Okay. Alrighty.
Hmm.
Well, that works. I kind of felt it, but I just wanted to make sure because from a male's perspective,
Hmm.
y'all know y'all secret codes and what's what, and whether we just need to be patient. I try to be more in touch with the man's mental awareness and stuff like that. So I'm trying to do that.
Right.
But just to be fair.
I got you.
Alrighty, well, thank you.
No problem, love.
I
Best of luck to
appreciate
you. Absolutely. You have a good one.
You too.
All right. Tom, what's going on?
Dude, it's been a couple weeks since we last talked now. Crazy Latin lover dude.
What's
Fucking.
going on, brother?
Alright, so update / question at the same time. Update is I sold the cars that were related to her.
Okay.
I've moved. I'm in a different place. Same city, different place. She doesn't know where I live. I'm having a hard time though, because I've been getting myself out there, trying to move on, just do life in general. So I started doing some Uber on the side just to go out and, have fun, meet new people, create new friendships and relationships. Not pursuing dating type stuff with that, but just going out, trying to meet people, invest in my life.
Right.
And it's been doing really freaking well.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where it's spring break and, girls are throwing their numbers at me, but I don't want anything to do with that side. The biggest thing is, my ex is, and I'm confused here. I don't know what's the goal, and I would love your perspective on this.
Mm-hmm.
We share dogs, so I have a black lab, or no, I have the brown lab, little girl. And she has the older black lab, which I let her have because, she needed some sort of support. And I was like, you know what? The little one's a crackhead. She is a bat out of, dark areas. Crazy, jumping, jackrabbit, everything. She couldn't handle her. So she has the calm one. But she reached out to me. She keeps using him as a reason to reach out to me. I don't reach out to her. I don't talk to her at all. But she will call me or she'll text me, hey, Maui is the dog's name. Maui's ear infection is back. And she'll try to get my input on what to do. And all I've told her every time is go to the vet. Go to the vet. Just take him to the vet, go deal with his ear. And then she'll take the conversation and she's like, so how's your single life? She said this 2 days ago. Weird as all get out. She's like, so how's the single life treating you? And I'm like, I'm just living my life. Keeping it short, to the point, not really doing anything. And then she was like, oh, I'm sure you don't really miss the craziness of us and all this sort of stuff. She's poking at it, so I don't really know where her mind is. And she's asking questions like that over the last couple times that we've spoken. And I'm keeping it short because I don't want to talk about it. I'm trying to move on. My head's all over the place. And I need someone who's got clarity, aka yourself and everybody else who loves to throw their tidbits in. And I'm more than happy, and I love to be able to get everybody else's perspective on why is she doing that? And two, I've posted a couple gym pics just because, I was feeling good about myself for once. I've lost 30 pounds in the last 3 months, being consistent. doing everything that I can to better myself. And she's looked at them a couple times with her main account, and then I happened to notice because I blocked her on social media, on everything, and I found a fake account for the dog. I had looked at it. So, am I crazy, or is she regretting things, or am I just feeding into it and I need to just let it go and just move on?
I'll let it go. I'll let it go. She's probably just trying to do a temperature check to see if she still has access. It's like a
Okay.
validation play. Does he still want me? Could I get this person back if I wanted to? All that kind of good stuff. But she's still the same person who behaved the way she behaved when y'all ended things.
Yeah.
And that's not a person that you can build with. A lot of guys fall into that trap where it's like, oh, she's asking questions. That means she wants me back. It's like, not necessarily. I mean, she wants to know if she could like get you back if she wanted. Right?
Yeah.
It's all about her and her ego. So, like, and then sometimes there is an aspect of like, did I make a mistake? Not did I make a mistake, like, should I have stayed with this person? But like, was it wrong to not bet on this person, right? Especially if you start elevating after the breakup.
Yeah. And it's okay. It's crazy you mentioned that, because another thing that I have a couple mutual friends with her that she's hung out with them a couple times, and one of the guy came up to me and was like, hey man, I want to apologize because I told him what happened between us, and he got like a couple drinks down and he blew up in her face while she was out with the girlfriends at the same time, and was like, it was a nightmare situation. She still doesn't know that I know what she's done. All the other stuff. I haven't been resentful. I haven't been toxic about it. I haven't been bitter.
Right.
But he told me that she was telling them that she can get whatever she wants, that the whole reason I got the car that I did, because she found out, because I dropped off the dog to her. I was trying to hide it because I was like, I literally do not need her to know that I have a new car. It's not about her. She found a way to make it about her, saying that I got the car that I wanted because she had a similar car, the same brand, a BMW, because I know BMW is like the back of my hand. I do all my own maintenance, I've torn them down and do stuff like that all the time. I did that for her. And she's making it that, oh, I got a BMW for myself because, she has one. I'm trying to be like her. Would you say that all of those things she's saying to those people that she knows are mutual, is she intentionally doing that to try and get word back to me, or is it she's just hoping, or that's the real her actually talking?
I think that's the real her actually talking.
Gotcha.
That's what I think. That's just
Wow.
the real her actually talking, right? Like, so, yeah, you have to let go of this situation completely, right? Including the dogs. She shouldn't have
Yeah.
access to you. That's just her way of like keeping her claws in you. You got to be completely free of her. And the last thing to let go of will be the dogs.
Yeah, it's
And
gonna kill me.
she'll probably try to find another way to reconnect, to keep access, and you just have to, block that path as well, so that you can be completely free from her. Because again, the longer you are in your head about this situation, and even thinking about her motivations, you're delaying your own healing and delaying meeting the person who can, you can actually be with.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm asking these things because I'm trying to make sure that I'm making the right decisions here.
I mean, your gut tells you to leave her alone.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's what your gut says. It's just you miss her, and you see emotions, and you built so much, you invested so much, so you're conflicted. But your gut is telling you like, this woman's no good for you, so you just have to leave her alone.
Yeah. And I met someone 2 days ago. Dropped her. Like I said, I am not doing Uber for anything, trying to find people like that. It is, I'm going out because I'm bored at home.
Yeah.
I want the tea so I can take it back to my day job and I can be like, y'all, you have no idea what I dealt with last night. Because spring break is hilarious. These
Right.
kids are on some crazy stuff and it is absolutely worth every second of it.
Mhm.
But I met someone and she gave me her number. She's like, hey, I want you to call me. I want you to come to the beach with me on Saturday. She actually seems like it's pretty chill, but I don't know if I'm ready to jump into something like that because I still have my mind with the ex situation and I don't want to put someone else into that, but I also don't want to lose the opportunity for something that I found that seems that I'd be interested in. But again, I feel like it might be too early and I'm conflicted.
I would say this is like the second. I typically give the opposite advice I'm about to give you. I'd say go for it because
I see that
the
smirk. All right.
the reason why is because you weren't. When I tell people not to, it's because they're trying to. You get the distinction? So like
Yeah.
they're not ready to date and they're trying to date. So they're trying to find a way to distract themselves. So it's their heart posture or their intention that I'm questioning. So I'm like, you need to take a break. That's not what you're doing. You're not seeking it
No.
out. You're not trying to find a way to distract yourself. And the ways you probably do distract yourself are healthier ways, like going to the gym and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's not you trying to lose yourself in another person. That's not your intention. But life has presented you with an opportunity. And I'm real big on saying yes to life. So
Okay.
you're attracted to her. And like one man said, Jay Fries, if it just fell into your lap, why might as well. Might as well. This would probably, get your mind off the situation for a little bit. Not permanently, but just for a little while, be a little pleasant distraction. And yeah, I say definitely entertain that.
All right, man. Now you got me nervous. We're gonna do it. We're gonna full send it.
Definitely up.
You'll get an update in a couple more weeks.
That's what I'm talking about. I look forward to it, brother.
All right. Hey, I won't keep you any longer. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody putting out their 2 cents. I appreciate y'all.
Absolutely, brother. You take care.
Hey, you too, bro.
There we go. Tom's in better spirits. Love to see that. Pierre. Yo, what's going on, brother?
Hey, so okay, let's have some positive stuff here now. I met somebody 4 days ago on we kind of like followed each other on an app, and as we speak, she won't want to let go of me on the phone, like, so I'm kind of like nervous, yesterday she said she loved me. I'm like, damn, bro, I don't know.
Hold on. You met someone on an app, you said?
Yes.
How long ago?
This app, actually, we just followed each other
Okay, so you met each other on TikTok. How long ago?
on Sunday.
On Sunday. And now she's saying she loves you?
She said that yesterday.
Okay.
And
So
I made a face, and then she's like, why are you making a face? I didn't know what to do, because, yeah, so I don't know.
So what's your question?
What's
your question?
No, my question is, like, how do I take this? Plus, she's like, no, it's a long distance, too.
So, what was the question again?
The question is, like, what do I need to do? Like, someone said that within 3 days, do you think it's a...
Nope. When you say long distance, how much distance? Like, where y'all located?
like 18 hours flight.
So, like, different continents. Where is she at?
Yeah. She's in South Africa.
Okay. Yeah. No, this is somebody who wants a husband or is a scammer. One of the two. But this isn't... Nah, brother. Nah, brother.
Right.
Yeah. Okay?
Okay. I don't think she's a scammer, but the loving part is what threw me off.
Yeah, she's either a scammer or it is someone who is just trying to find a plug and play husband. One of the two.
Yeah. Okay, that means I'm just not fortunate because before this, I just found out my previous crush is pregnant too.
Oh wow.
So I don't know what's going on. Like I'm trying to find love, you know.
You're going about the wrong way, man. Try. Let's start on the same piece of the same rock. Let's find love on the same rock.
Oh my god, I just don't know like
Right.
how you're gonna be. I mean, I don't know. I feel some type of way. Somebody I used to be so nice to and stuff. I was gonna marry, and all of a sudden she's pregnant. I feel so awkward. I'm like, I don't know. So
I mean, yeah, that happens. That happens, bro.
yeah,
But
everyone pray for me. Hopefully, I'll find some decent person, you know. But thanks for your advice. Appreciate it.
no problem, brother. Best of luck to you.
Okay.
All right. All right. Find out they're pregnant does suck, though. Oh, I feel them on that. It's like, oh, someone got up in there, unloaded. That's a rough one. Who we got next? Alt, you're up. You're muted though. Okay. Let's keep it going. Tay, what's going on? Hello.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry, I was trying to figure that out. So, gonna get a little dramatic and start this out by saying I have spent the last year fighting cancer. So I am currently in remission now. I'm still doing some small treatments to make sure it doesn't come back, but
Okay.
I have kind of spent the last year going through a lot of that.
Okay.
At the beginning of my cancer journey, I went through a divorce because of an affair. So it was kind of a lot all at once, and I kind of isolated myself for a while. I have been recently interested in getting back into the dating scene, I guess, maybe putting myself back out there and trying to live my life in a normal light. And I did meet someone a couple of months ago at the gym.
Okay.
And we hit it off pretty well. Everything honestly went perfect, and it kind of scared me a little bit. So I had expressed to him that I was feeling like I maybe wasn't ready. I've lost my hair with my cancer, and I don't really look the same. And I think this was the first time I was trying to be desirable to somebody else, and it made me have to process things that I hadn't processed up until this point. So I had expressed to him that I felt like, maybe I wasn't ready. I was feeling insecure, and that I kind of needed to step back and continue working on myself. He was very receptive to that. He was just kind of like, I understand you got a lot going on, and he kind of just left it there. Hasn't really said anything to me. So, we've kind of seen each other at the gym here and there, but it's really kind of just like a smile, a little bit awkward now. So it has maybe been about 3.5 weeks since we have spoken, and I got to thinking about it, and I kind of was missing him a little bit, and I was like, maybe I did make the wrong decision just because I kind of got insecure. Half of my brain is like, I get that he understands, but then the other half is like, why wouldn't you try to make me not insecure, especially if I don't even know how to explain that, but he didn't really say anything to me. I don't know if it's out of respect for me, and likely is because of everything that I'm going through. But yesterday, I decided to text him and let him know, that I was kind of thinking of him. I had come across something that reminded me of him, and he didn't really seem receptive. He did, kind of give me an update on how he was doing, and asked me how I was, but then I kind of said something funny, and he just reacted to it, and didn't say anything back. And so now I'm sitting here I don't know if I should I don't know if I kind of ruined it being insecure, or if I should maybe try to reach back out. What are you thinking?
I mean, you can try. What's the worst that can happen, right? I would say like if you try again, I wouldn't go about it indirectly. Like that was the path you just took was indirect. It's like okay, we're not going to really acknowledge how I ended things. I'm just going to
Mm-hmm.
make contact with you again. So I would probably expect like an acknowledgement of like, you know, I'm sorry I got kind of in my head about this, but I would love to connect again if you're up for it. If not, I'll understand too.
Yeah.
All right, something like that. Just check his temperature on it. He
Okay.
might respond positively to it, or he'll respond in a neutral way, who's just not interested. Because it could be, um, you could have created a situation where he may have been open to a relationship, but then seeing you pull the plug like that makes him he doesn't feel safe in the connection anymore. So now he's not even considering it because it's like what's
Mm-hmm.
stopping you from just doing that again? You know,
Yeah.
um, that's like worst case scenario. Most likely case scenario, he'll probably be like, okay, yeah, let's give it another shot.
Okay. I guess you're right. I wasn't really very direct. I mean, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm thinking about you, and I don't know. Part of me, I want somebody who wants me back. So I think feeling like he didn't really care to I don't know. I expressed how I was feeling whenever I had stopped talking to him. I was kind of very direct in that moment. And I felt like instead of having a conversation and being like, hey, I understand where you're at, and maybe you do need a little bit more reassurance, I'm willing to give that to you. Like, I don't know if this is something I should even entertain anymore. Because I feel like when you know you want somebody, you know you want somebody. And when you're going through like something that I'm going through, if you're going to be understanding, you are. And if you're not, you're not. So I don't know if I
No,
should
it's
continue to
but
waste my own time.
no, you're in your head about it. It's it would be one thing if you just said if you expressed a fear to him
Mm-hmm.
of your insecurity, and then that would have probably gave him the nudge to reassure you. That's not what you did though. You expressed the fear and then ended things. So any self-respecting man is going to look at that as like, now I gotta chase you. That's not those days are gone. The days of men chasing women are gone. So now it's going to be men will still give more to the connection initially, but the whole chasing idea that's out the window, right? So the fantasy that a lot of women have, I'm not saying this is you, but you made me think of it. The fantasy that women have of like them pushing a man away and then him just to so he can prove to her how much he wants her. That's that's dead, right? So if you're going to end things, most men who have any degree of options are like, okay, if you want to end it, like I mean, I was enjoying this, but I'm not going to fight you on that. If you want to end it, I'm not going to beg you to be with me. So I guess I'll just go and talk to Susie, right? So that would be you kind of shot yourself in the foot in that situation because you didn't have to end things. It could have just been this is a concern that I have, right? And the concern that you have was really unfounded. Again, even the concern that you have, I get your situation. I understood where that came from, but he was dating you. You know what I mean? Like he was
Mm-hmm.
actively dating you, so he obviously desired you. You didn't put a pew pew to his head and make him date you. Like he did that of his own volition. So he obviously found you to be attractive. So your insecurity was just you being in your own head to begin with. You know.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, that's not his responsibility there. That's your responsibility. Like if you have insecurity, it's stuff that you have to deal with. And that makes you more attractive as a woman, right? To not to appreciate reassurance, right? To pick someone who is capable of that, but also to not need it. Because if you can contain yourself to a degree, that gives the man a bit more safety in the connection, right? So safety for the man's perspective was lowered twice in the interaction with you. The first time it was um, you you not even trusting that he likes you for real, even though all his behavior was suggesting the opposite, and then ending the connection abruptly when you said things were perfect. He probably felt the same way. He probably was, oh, the girl's great, right? So it's not to beat yourself up about it. Like we're learning. It's a learning environment, right? It's just okay. We got to learn so we don't make the same mistake again. But I don't think this connection is dead. Like I said, if you send that text and just send off a little quick apology, let him know that you understand. Like, you know, I know I probably um, ended things or sabotaged it just because of all I got going through. But I would love to give it another shot. But if not, I understand too, right? That's the perfect message to send him, and it would give him the balls in his court after that. And I feel like there's a good chance it'd go your way.
All right. All right, I'm gonna be more direct. I appreciate that.
No problem. Follow up with me. Let me know how it goes, though. Okay.
All right, I will.
All right, love you. Take care.
Thanks.
All right, Lex. What's going on?
Hi, how are you, first of all?
Great. How are you?
I'm pretty good. So I left my question in the chat a couple times, but they told me to join up.
Okay.
My question is, am I wrong for breaking up with my boyfriend my ex-boyfriend now, because of his depression room? So backstory is, we met in March. We started dating in like August, and we made it official in September. For context, I'm 31 and he was 28, and he was still living at home with his mom, and he was in the process of like getting his things together to move out of where he was living. Sorry, I'm like a little nervous to speak in public.
You're good.
So he was getting his things together to move out of where he was living, and we live in New York, so out here it's kind of difficult to find apartments that are affordable. And it's either like co-op living, or you need like a guarantor, all this stuff, whatever. But ultimately, he ended up, okay, I don't even know how to start for real. Okay, so throughout all of this, he let me know that he was intentionally dating. He's looking to be in a serious relationship, and since he is going to be moving, he said since it's his first time living on his own, he would like my help with like finding furniture and things. And I was like, oh, I'm cool with that. I love IKEA. We can do some fun stuff, like, have a date to IKEA or something like that. I don't mind helping. I'm interested in stuff like that.
Okay.
When we would do our regular dates, and make plans for the following week, I would say, oh, do you want to take this time to go to IKEA so that we can look at a few things? And his response will always be like, oh, I'm not really sure. Maybe the following week. Now, to note this, he was a manager at Foot Locker at one point. And so he was like one of those people who had a lot of shoes and stuff. So like, essentially he was saying that like he needed places to like put his shoes and like all his extra clothes and all that. And I'm like, that's neither here nor there. So come to the end of September, his mom was also supposed to move out of the state, but she ended up not moving. And since he apparently was having a hard time finding a place, he decided not to move as well. So since the weather was changing, it was September going into October, I was like, okay, I'm noticing how much you're spending on dates. And since it's going to start getting cold soon, like, how do you feel about like, hosting or, coming to my place? Because I don't live with parents. I'm not from New York, but I have roommates and I have my own space. So I'm fine with like having people over at my house. But he said he wasn't interested in coming over because I live with a lot of females. Like I have a lot of like women roommates. And so I said, okay, that's fine. He let me know that he would work on cleaning his room from his depression room. And, he would let me know when he's ready. That ultimately took a month. So the month of October, like the last 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, we didn't see each other. And the very last week I got sick. And so we also didn't have a date. And so by the time the first week of November came, I asked him what he wanted our plans to be. And I suggested, hey, we meet up and, I come over or whatever. He said, oh, my room's not finished. And I did say that I didn't care. But I'm thinking that if it's been a month that you said officially that you were going to focus on cleaning, and not only that, if you were also in the process of moving, then I would think that you would also be in the process of getting rid of things and like, compartmentalizing what you want to transition into your new space. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So ultimately, he agreed to let me come over. I went over there after hanging out with one of my friends, and I got there and it was like crazy, like shoes everywhere, like big old piles of stuff, like, it seemed like there wasn't any like cleaning done, you know what I'm saying? So That was my first time going in there. And as soon as I walked in, I said, okay, Lex, you need to start taking notes. So I'm looking at everything. Like, I'm paying attention to everything that's in there because I'm wondering, like, what the process was. But I asked him when I got in there, I said, oh, I know you were still in the process of cleaning before I got here. What were you working on? Were you about to sweep? You want me to help? He told me he already swept and he didn't need any help. And I'm looking at the floor and I still see Q-tips on the floor and shit. So then he said he needed to go take a shower. I'm like, why the hell are you leaving me in this room and it's like this? So that was another thing. Later on, he needed to throw something away. He got up, grabbed like a garbage bag, threw what he needed to throw away, and then dropped the bag where he stood. And I said, oh no. I'm thinking to myself, oh fuck no. So that was the first time. Now I left and I kind of let him know how I felt about things there, and I said to myself that like I wasn't gonna ask about going to IKEA again, and I wasn't gonna suggest like anything to do with cleaning because it just kind of seems like he's falling short or whatever. It
Right.
felt like I was being a parent, and I don't feel like I need to do that if I'm dating somebody. You know what I'm saying? So the following week I didn't talk about plans or anything, and he suggested that I go out to where he lived and we go to the movies, like have a day or whatever. So I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. So I'm thinking that since he invited me over, he already knows that he needs to continue cleaning his room. I get over there the second time and it looks the exact same way as it looked the first time I went over there, and I was upset down to the like trash bag that was on the ground. So that pissed me off, and I left there, and essentially like my whole entire mood kind of switched towards him or whatever. And it took me a while to figure out how to have the conversation because I didn't want to be insensitive, but I also didn't want to I don't know. I also didn't want it to seem like that's acceptable to have me over in that way.
Okay. So hold on, Les. Hold on. We got to get to the question, love. What's the question?
Oh, I'm so sorry. My
good.
question is, one, why do I feel like I threw the baby out with the bathwater? Because like I have been single for a long time, and I ran into somebody who, one, said that they were very intentional about being in a relationship. Two, they were doing all of the other, intentional things in a relationship. So why do I feel bad about like standing on a boundary that's like really, really important? And two, my birthday was like maybe a week or two after we split, and he ghosted me after, and I'm wondering, like, is that my ego that I feel a way about getting ghosted right before my birthday, or like do he just feel a way? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I tripping?
What do you mean he ghosted you after the split? Y'all broke up?
Yeah.
How did he ghost you if y'all broke up?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it could have been like copacetic. Like, I don't feel like I need to have beef with people, or like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's weird. Okay, cool. That's fine.
It's not that it's
But,
weird.
yeah.
It's a preference thing. It's just
Okay.
like you're projecting how you feel about the situation onto another person. They probably don't feel the same way, right?
Okay.
So, why are you calling this a depression room?
Well, that's how he put it. I'm just quoting it how he quoted it.
So he called it a depression room. Did he show any signs of depression?
He seemed like up and down. I would say he seemed up and down.
Okay. All right.
He wasn't really interested in like
You need
therapy.
to up and down them dishes.
Yeah,
Listen.
definitely. But
The
like,
thing is,
his family. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, finish your thought. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, when it came to his room, and his family saw like the bit of progress that he made, and he told me what his family said about the progress that he made. Like, for instance, when his little nephew saw his room, he walked in the room and he said, "Oh, I can see the floor in here," which is to give you a picture of what the room, what I assume
Right.
the room looked like.
Yeah.
So I'm a little confused, and I'm just wondering like why I'm harping on it. I guess I don't know. Maybe it's a dumb question.
No, not a dumb question at all. So why you're still thinking about this? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, you already told me about the whole like not speaking after the breakup thing. He took distance. You know, it was a boundary thing. We split. That is what it is. Or why do I still feel like I made the wrong choice, or like I broke
How
up
long?
with him too early?
How
Because
long
one
was
of the
y'all?
things,
How long was y'all date?
well, we were official September. We broke up like November. Because the first time I went over there was the first week of November, and I wasn't fucking with how that room looked.
Gotcha. So y'all were in a relationship for 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay. How long did y'all date before y'all got into a relationship?
About 2 months, two
Okay,
and a half months.
that's fair. How did y'all meet?
We met organically. I was coming home from work. We met on a subway platform.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, yeah, you probably are so impacted by it because when you broke up with him, you probably didn't think that he was going to be like completely out of your life, which is expressed by you being confused as to why he didn't reach out during your birthday.
Oh yeah.
So you're probably hitting the realization of like, oh, this person is going now, right? And you probably did not ground yourself in that understanding when you actually did break up with him. Okay, that's probably why you're still like fixated on it. Two,
You're probably right. You're probably right. Because I initially didn't want to. Like, I felt like this was something that could have been worked through, but also at the same time, a month is a long time to be cleaning a room. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I did offer help, and I don't know.
yeah,
But
I
yeah,
don't think
that's
you
it.
didn't make the wrong decision here. No, I'm not. I've already told the chat the other day, like if I know you got depression, I gotta see you later.
True.
I can deal with depression if like we're in a relationship and we built a strong foundation and then maybe you got depression later. It's like, well,
Yes.
okay, then we're in a committed relationship. I've known you, I've built with you, right? Yeah, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna help you see this through. If I meet you and you got tears in your eyes, no, thank you. I wish you the best, but I gotta get out of here. I'm
And
not trying
also,
to.
I suffer from depression as well, but I'm in therapy and I have a psychiatrist, like all that. So
Okay.
I know what it's like to have depression. I know what it's like to fall into bouts of that and not be able to like really take care of yourself.
See, but here's
So
the
I
thing.
did also want to check.
That you definitely made the right decision because y'all both was gonna be Eeyore in this situation. We're gonna have two
Right.
Eeyores in this. We don't want that. So it's like you need someone that's gonna be a little more even keel that can kind of be like the Rock, you know. Um, so yeah, this was the right decision, right? Because it's like you said, no progress is being made. I always try to point to like effort. You know what I mean? Like if you saw a little bit of effort, then maybe that would have indicated promise. But that's not what you saw. You saw a month go by and it was literally no progress made. You
Mm,
know? So this is essentially like incompatibility. You know what I
okay,
mean?
sweet.
Like he doesn't see any problem with the situation. Like I know that's
Yeah,
a sign of depression, like junkiness, but at the same time, bro, like you can
because
you
one
can
of the first things he told me was that I didn't give him any time. And I said, not give you any time like you had from October to November. I think that's a lot of time.
yes, it's I mean, more than 2 days I think is a lot of time. You know what I mean? It don't take that long to clean something up.
I mean,
So
100%. I mean, also at the point where you start dating somebody, you also know at some point I'm gonna want to have you over. So I also think that when we started dating, that should have been the point where he started cleaning up and locking in.
yeah,
But
because you told him you were coming over his house, right?
yes, he knew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have. And how long did it take you to get over there?
I mean, I live in Brooklyn. He lived in Long Island, so it took me like over 45 minutes to an
Yeah,
hour. So
he could have got that thing clean. It just wasn't important to him.
yeah.
He could at least make some progress. He could have he could have like cleared out a pile and you could have saw the carpet in one little area and sat right there in that one clean spot. He didn't even do that. So no, this
Yeah.
isn't. You made the right decision here. This
Well,
could have
thank you so
potentially been the catalyst for him to actually get his act in order.
I mean, maybe, who knows? But I do also feel like because of the fact that there wasn't any what's the word I'm looking for? Accountability or any like, damn, I can see how you feel or how you could be uncomfortable or why you feel like this is my baseline, like having you over like this. Even if he was a little bit embarrassed, I feel like that would have changed the way that I handled the situation in the end, you know, or it would have at least made me think that he was going to change at some point.
Right. He didn't give you anything to work with, so you made the right decision.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
No problem, love. Best of luck to you. All right. Estefani.
Hi. Oh, you said my name correct. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. I really just want, I guess, a guy's perspective on whether I made the right decision or not, because I was told that I was doing too much and that I was, I guess, controlling or trying to control the situation. So, backstory is, met a guy probably like through 2.5-ish months to 3 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
organically. I was just minding my business, going to get some food because I'm a big back. And we met at the place that I went to get the food at.
Mm-hmm.
And we exchanged info from there, and then we just started talking. It was a good connection. We had lots in common, good chemistry, conversation flowed, everything, whatever. And so I think maybe 2.5 weeks of just like having good conversation or whatever, we did have a conversation whether like what exactly he was looking for, just to get some clarification on what this is. And he had stated that he's just like, he didn't say he was looking for anything serious, more of like, you know, if it happens, it happens, you know. Like, I'm not opposed to it. So I was like, okay, no problem. So we were getting along just fine. He was being like consistent with, you know, the whole spiel of good morning, checking in, this and that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But keep in mind that we both moved recently to an area that we're not from, and we don't know anybody. So I think maybe we like latched onto each other a little bit. But anyways, so the thing is, he just started slowly switching up. And I'm like very, like, I pay attention to people's like habits and stuff. So like I will notice a switch up or something, or a change in routine or whatever.
Right.
And I noticed that he did. So I didn't address it right away. I'm just like, people got stuff going on, whatever. Maybe there's something that I don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So then it continued, and it just kind of became like, or it got to a point to where it seemed like it changed, where he just specifically wanted to like hang out on his time or do things on his time when it was beneficial to him, and this and that. So I kind of told him like, listen, this is really not what I'm looking for. I know you said you weren't looking for anything specific, so that makes sense, but like I'm gonna like pull out. Man, this man was like, no, he like told me like, let's talk in person. So I met up with him, talked in person, and he was just like, yeah, that's not the impression I wanted to give you. Like, I care about you, this and that. I don't want you to pull away from me, like like a whole spiel of like, no, let's not do that. Let's not lock in, but like, let's continue getting to know each other. So I was like, okay, cool. So that's what we did. And it was okay for a little bit. And then he switched up again. And I'm just like, I don't have time for this. I'm 28. I know what I want. And I just don't have time for this like constant switch up. So again, I called him out on it. And then that's when he told me that he came out here for his job, and that a relationship was not what he was looking for, and that he enjoys what me and him have, and this and that. He doesn't want that to end, but he really wasn't, like, he's not looking for anything serious, and that, like, not to hold him to anything because he's not going to give me that. I was like, well, you should have said that the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
What was the whole point of telling me to meet you in person and talking to me and then saying something completely different? And he was like, no, I did tell you that. And I'm like, no, the heck you didn't. I would have remembered that part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, you didn't. And he was just like, then it just turned like into an argument because he's just swore up and down that he told me. And I was like, I promise you, you didn't. Maybe you implied it, and I am short, so maybe it went over my head. But you definitely didn't like say those words to me or whatever. And then that's when he was like, oh yeah, you're doing too much. You're trying to like control how this goes, like the timing, this and that, da 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 da. Like, I enjoy being around you. I enjoy what we have. Like, let's just like, I guess, let it be. He doesn't think we should end things and da 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 whatever. I'm like, no. Like, you're trying to situationship me. That's what you're trying to do. Like, you can't have you can't want me and then not want me. So from a guy's perspective, am I tripping? Am I like misreading something? Or it's exactly that, like he's trying to situationship me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right. Thank you. I'm like, and I told him that, and he's like, no, but I care about you. I've done like things to like support you, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, but you're still trying to situationship me.
Yes.
So, okay. Thank you. I just needed that. Because sometimes I just need, like, I'm pretty good at reading people, but sometimes I just need to hear it so that I can be sure.
I got you.
And thank you for confirming it. I appreciate it.
No problem, love. Best of luck to you, all right?
Thank you.
Miles, we might do the timer. I thought the timer like automatically kick people off, but what are the options for the timer? Because we might need to put the timer on everyone, like 2-minute timer on every person, and they have to explain their thing within 2 minutes. Nothing against the previous call. I'm not talking about her. It's just that made me think of it. 5 minutes. 5 minutes is too long. 5 minutes is too long. No, 2 minutes I think is enough. Rhea, what's going on?
Hey, all right, I'm gonna try and keep it super short. I don't wanna go on, and I want to get your opinion and your advice. So I'm from London. I moved to Houston 2 years ago for work, so I've been living here. Very long story short, 3 weeks into moving here, I met this guy through work. He treated me really well. He did tell me from the get-go that, look, want to spend some time with you, want to get to know you. I'm not looking for a relationship, which was kind of cool by me because obviously I just moved here. I was still trying to settle in, find some friends, find somewhere to live and kind of just get used to my new environment. So I was cool with that situation. So then obviously with that being said, I was keeping my options open. I was going on a few other dates, not many to be honest. But this guy, he told me he didn't want a relationship, but as we started spending more time together, I could see he was falling more for me and he wanted to spend all my time basically. So anyway, he told me from the get-go as well, another thing he told me is that he didn't want marriage and he didn't want children. So for me, that was like massive deal breaker. I'm an only child. I want to have a family. I want to settle down. And I made that very clear from the get-go. Anyway, after we've been spending more time together, more and more, obviously the feelings I think grew on both sides. And then it got to a point where every single time I'd see him now, like every single week, he was like, I really want to commit to you. I really want to be in a relationship with you. And he did a full 180. So I said, look, you've already made it clear to me that you don't really want the same things that I want, and I don't think we're aligned. I don't really think that's a good idea. He then was telling me, look, I do want the same things. I do want to be with you. I do want to have a child with you. I think you deserve this life. I really want to be with you. Anyway, so we ended up kind of like then getting into a relationship, which now looking back on it was probably not a good idea. And then just to end it off, so a year into us dating, because we dated for about a year and a half, or 2 years. So a year into us dating, he then, he bought a house, he bought a 3-bed house, and he moved his mum and his sister in. he moves his mum and his sister, and I'm like, you told me you didn't want marriage, you didn't want this, you know, you're young. He's a year younger than me, by the way. So I'm like, your actions not really aligned.
We gotta get to the question, love. We got the 2-minute timer has elapsed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so he's moved them in. They're very financially dependent on him and enmeshed. His sister's in college. His mum's living in his house rent free, so that she can pay the sister's rent because she doesn't work. He pays for their car insurance. It's just very entangled. And now we were talking about moving in together, and now he's telling me, well, I'm going to speak to my mum eventually. And is he wasting my time, basically, is the question. And yeah, should I? But I was concerned about moving on just because he's treated me well. He's opened doors. He's paid for dates. He showed me a good time. And I was just like, is it too, am I being, I don't know.
So the situation is he's moved his family into his place?
He moved his family into his place, yeah, and he told me it would be temporary, but it's now been a year.
It's been a year. Okay. So when we revisit this conversation, has he updated the timeline?
No, so he's telling me that I should trust him and that it is a difficult conversation to have with his mom, but he'll be having it eventually.
Okay. And this is a place that you two share?
No, this is his house. I have my own apartment.
Okay. So why is this creating a problem for you?
Well, I'm asking because I'm at a stage where it's just like I'm 28, and I'm not trying to focus on age, but I feel like I'm quite intentional in terms of like what I want, and there's a process, right? So if he hasn't even had a conversation with his mom, I want to get engaged. I thought 2 years would be a good mark. We're at a 1.5 year mark now, going on to 2 years. And there's not even any promise of like, okay, I'm going to make some sort of progression or I'm going to make some sort of move. You've moved your family in. I mean, it seems kind of regressive. It's like, how are we moving forward? What's the plan for us? And there just is none.
Gotcha.
It just doesn't seem to be.
How old are you two?
I'm 28. He's 27.
Okay. And why did his mother and sister move in?
Exactly. So they were literally renting. His mum was renting. His sister was living there. I really don't understand. He told me it was temporary because she was going to buy a house. And then he then told me that she actually decided she didn't really want to have that financial obligation anymore. She didn't want to buy a home, but she still moved in with him. And nothing's changed. There's been no update that she's going to rent again. It's just been left.
Okay. Your question was, is he wasting your time? I don't think he's wasting
Is it a waste of time? What do you think that I should cut my losses and like try to find someone a little bit more that seems a bit more serious or has more of like more boundary setting with their family, I guess, and then also someone who just is able to kind of like take the lead with this kind of stuff? Is what he keeps telling me really is that he's not really sure.
No, there needs to be one final conversation. I don't think you've been too hard with it. One final conversation about letting him know how serious you are. It was like an ultimatum type of thing, and then you get clear on what does winning look like. What's the middle path where you both, or it's a win-win scenario, right? Which sounds like it would be a timeline, a fixed timeline as to when this is going to occur.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just throw away the whole relationship, because what you're basically just finding is, oh, here's a flaw that he has, and I don't like this flaw, so I'm gonna leave the relationship. And it's like, but
this thing is a bit bigger than a flaw.
it's a flaw. It's him not being able to set boundaries with the person who raised him, right? He can overcome that. He needs the right catalyst for it, and you could be that catalyst. But I would say if this last conversation doesn't go well, then it's like, okay, well then leave. But don't just like leave. I wouldn't just leave this situation, right? Because this is an actual complicated situation. Like I don't know. It sounds like you also don't know the reason why his mother and sister moved in, right? You just know they're living there, and maybe he hasn't shared that with you. Maybe they don't want him to share that with you, right? That's also possible, but you don't know the real reason why he's doing it. So
I get it. Yeah.
So people grow and change. People can go from enmeshed to learning boundaries, right? Like that's something that people do, but sometimes people don't, right? So this situation, we have a final conversation with
so
him.
that we have actually had several conversations about that of this of late, and I feel like we have had quite a serious conversation about it recently, in which he told me basically that it's going to happen eventually.
and
Okay.
just know
Eventually
again, no
doesn't you
time.
got it, eventually doesn't work. What I'm telling you is to go with clarity in this conversation. Not I'm just complaining about your mother living here. I am going to walk, like, love you. This is the timeline that I have for myself. You know, I enjoy
Yeah,
you. I see a future with
yeah,
you, but I got to be honest with you. This doesn't work for me. Um, if you want your mother and sister to stay here, I wish y'all the best. Totally cool. I don't have a problem with that. It just
yeah,
doesn't work for me. The only way I can remain here is if I have a fixed timeline as to when that's going to change, because I would like my life to continue to progress and the person I'm with romantically to continue to progress. It can't progress in this circumstance, right? So you're
yeah.
having a
Fine.
clear conversation, almost like a negotiation, not I'm just complaining about this and now seeing what your response to my complaint is, right? That's probably how
Mm,
you've approached it thus far. Don't approach it like that. Approach it almost like
yeah,
it's a business conversation, okay? And see what he does with it. If he does not raise up to the challenge, then you know to move on. If he does, then that's
yeah,
something that you can work with. Okay?
yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you.
No problem, love. You have a good one. All right. You probably don't want to interfere with mom and sister situations. They're never going to end well. Yeah, you have. I mean, she still has to have a conversation. She doesn't have clarity on the situation yet. She needs clarity. That's what we're optimizing for. Is not her keeping the relationship, not anything like that. We're optimizing for clarity on this situation. Why do they live here? What is the actual timeline we can abide by? Right? Are you just afraid? Do you also not want them here? And you're just afraid of having a conversation with them. You get clarity. Once we have clarity, we can make a decision. But y'all who have been in this chat long enough, y'all already know I don't do that black and white shit. If you are thinking black and white about these issues, you are wrong. People are entirely too complicated for you to be like, well, in this situation, you should always do this. You're not thinking. You're not thinking. We gotta turn our brains on. All right. Julie Jules, what's going on?
Hey,
How you doing?
how are you?
Good.
Yeah, so I've been in the comments a little bit, just listening in, but I'll keep it very brief. So I was in a relationship last year. I'm coming out of a 3-year relationship. I've been single for about 6 months, and I am kind of like, I guess, new again to the dating world. Previously, when I was dating, I met most of the guys online. Now, like, I'm a pretty social person. I'm out, but now I'm meeting them in person, like full on. I'm not online at all. So I guess it's a bit intimidating to start like that process all over again. So I guess my question is, I guess it's more of like, what advice would you give in this situation when you're kind of starting all over again? I'm pretty social, but again, it's still new because, like I said, I've only dated online for the most part. Meet someone and then you go on a date.
So you're trying to date in a way that's not online and you're new to it. So it's like, how do you approach that? Is that the question?
I guess that's the question because, like I said, I do networking, but it's just different, So I'm like, I feel like maybe I'm psyching myself out. It's a little bit intimidating. I don't like. I remember you saying things like, letting guys, know, because guys do approach me. You know what I mean? I don't have that issue, but like, I'm trying to be more intentional and not just go out with just any guy. But there are guys I feel like, could align, but I don't know if I'm explaining this well.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the core of the problem because at first it was like, how do I approach dating as far as like, actually start going on dates. Now it sounds like, how do I approach dating and have the discernment to know who's a good fit and who's a bad fit? Is that the problem?
That's probably more the question.
Okay. Are you going out on dates with these guys who approach you?
So the guys that have approached me, I felt did not align just based off of just certain conversations. So I didn't move forward with a date with them. No, I didn't
Okay.
go out with them.
So of those guys, what about the conversation signaled to you that this was not going to work?
I feel like their focus was a bit different. I am trying to, my relationship with God is very important to me, and I've been very central with that. And it's just the conversation, the flow. and just what their thoughts are. I'll be honest. The ones that I did meet a few times, they were in the club, and I'm not a club girl, but I went out and with a friend for her birthday. I met a few of them there, and it could have been the environment, but it was just the conversations were just really off. Like at first it was great, and then they were talking sexual stuff. Like really, I'm like I wasn't even giving that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It just
Yeah, it's the environment. You are a woman who is trying to grow closer to God and take that seriously, and you romantically entertain many men at the club. This was a predictable outcome, to be honest with you.
yeah.
All right. So if you're going to be a woman of faith, you cannot date worldly people, right? So it will be best to not put yourself in worldly environments. And to meet men who are in faith focused environments or faith adjacent environments. Okay, doesn't necessarily have to be church, but maybe things that are tangentially connected to church or faith, right? Maybe you involve yourself in more hobbies or clubs that are faith adjacent. You know, maybe go to single nights at church, maybe attend church themed events or Christian themed events, right? But yeah, if you're not just like wearing a Christian costume and instead you're like actually taking your faith walk seriously, like you can't date outside of that domain.
So I am a part of, like I said, I am a part of different groups that have mixtures of men and women.
Mhm.
I'm a part of Christian hiking groups. I am a part of different Christian clubs. It's not like this was the situation you asked me, why I didn't go out with the guys that have reached out to me or
Right.
talked to me most recently.
Right.
But
I
I
got
do
you.
meet people other places, but I don't know.
And you
I
don't go out
think
with them either?
Say that again?
Do you not go out with them either when you meet them in the faith focus?
Well, they
Yes.
haven't asked me out.
Yeah, that's
Maybe it's
listen, the church is in a rough spot right now. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like because a lot of the men there are they're very nice, I would say. They're very nice. They embody the niceness of scripture. They don't embody like the fire of it, the
yeah.
edge. You look at certain figures in the Bible, like those weren't weak men.
They were not.
Those weren't scary men.
They weren't.
But a lot of I made one of my first viral videos before I called myself a dating coach was me talking about this situation. And I said, here's what I said in that video. Y'all, if y'all are curious, go back on my page and scroll way down. I said that most Christian men are feminine. And
I agree.
yes, because a lot of them grew up in the church. They went to church with their grandmother, their aunties, all that kind of stuff. You even see like them like worship, and they'll do like little hand gesture, like stuff. Even that gesture to me looks feminine, but it's like that's what a lot of Christian men are. Is they are more feminine focused. And I know I just saw a guy say I disagree. I hear you, but facts is facts, right? That doesn't mean all. That just means a lot, right? If you find a guy who's doing it for real, a Christian man who's doing it for real is going to agree with me in terms of like the Christian men in churches are, when you look at certain figures within like the Bible, they're like really masculine men, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of Christian men are more feminine. You can't say that's all, but then say it's a fact. Bro, are you stupid? You're about to get blocked because now you're about to annoy me. When I say a lot, that does not mean all, right? So obviously, I'm a Christian man. You think I'm fucking talking about myself? Like, we got to turn this on, people. So back to what I was saying. In that video, what I suggested was the church that you go to, I would think, can produce more masculine oriented Christian men. In other words, if you go to when I look at like 2819, right, in Georgia, you know what I'm talking about? That church? Pastor Philip Anthony
Who's the
Mitchell.
pastor?
Philip Anthony Mitchell is the pastor there. When you go to a church that has like a very hard masculine preacher,
Okay.
he's probably going to attract men who are that way too.
Gotcha.
This is a theory. I'm not saying this is true. This is just what I said in the video. I haven't tested this. But if you go to a church that's like more masculine oriented, where the head of the church is more like hard, like repent, like just more masculine oriented, the men that it attracts is probably going to align with that a little bit as well.
Huh.
There are a lot of Christian men who don't even go to church because the Christian church in the West is very feminized. It's very feminized. It's very they don't talk about repentance. They don't talk about the hard things in the Bible. They just talk about like it's more prosperity doctrine. Oh, you give, you tithe, you get it's just blessing focused. It's just like, which is a feminine orientation because it's just like you just handle everything for me with like no accountability on the side of the believer, right? It's very feminized, which is why it's so popular. If every church like preached the hard shit, it would not be as popular as it is because people don't want to feel convicted. So when you tell them they just believe and your time is coming, you'll get the car, you'll get this. That's like law of attraction, manifestation shit, which is feminized. A lot of women orient to it. The whole manifestation idea is a feminine idea of I just create things. It comes to me, right? Like that's even women's like a lot of women's entitled orientation to dating in and of itself. It's like I just get it. I'm supposed to just have the guy of my dreams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's a feminine orientation. And it's infiltrated the church because people want big churches. And if they want big churches, they have to appeal to what the people want. And the people want the feminine orientation. Makes sense? Because it's still capitalism at the end of the day. I'm preaching right now, apparently. So,
No, I agree. I think I think like I think what I'm gonna have to do possibly is really evaluate, my environment. Like I said, just to clarify, I went for someone's birthday once. I do not entertain the club. That's just not my domain.
Right.
But I do go on hikes, and I am a part of a Christian hiking group.
Right.
So I guess I should see what churches they go to.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to. The pushback that I can anticipate is like, well, you don't go to church to find like a husband or stuff like that, right? Fair pushback,
No, absolutely
right?
not. They're
You
not
don't.
there.
But it's like I do think that if you want to, that if you put yourself in those spaces where the head is more masculine oriented, then and you're not going to a church where everybody's trying to show off their Easter outfit.
Right. That's
Look
right.
at look at my Easter outfit. I look great today. Like that type of church, which y'all know what I'm talking about. You're probably going to find men who are a bit more,
They're
strong.
married. So the men
Yeah,
in the
because
church are
they're
married.
they're desirable. Because the men like that who I'm describing, that's peak masculinity. You find like a man of God who's doing it for real, that's peak masculinity. They
Yeah.
probably not gonna be single long. You get
That's
like a
right.
guy like that who's masculine, he's probably conquered lust and all that kind of stuff, or at least is further along than the average man. Like, yeah, women gonna be after him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be probably slim pickings, but like I would say putting yourself in that environment is probably going to increase your odds of finding a guy like that. Like instead of you going to churches and like singles night at a church and all the guys just looking at the woman like who's gonna make the first move. Like that's what I've seen so many women complain about that because it's the truth. That's why I do what I do is trying to teach men like a different way to approach this game, right? Like you gotta be you're not being like David if you are waiting for Shorty to approach you.
Yeah.
David's going. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, that's all.
I got you. I appreciate you so much. I'll be in the comments. Thank you. Hope you have a great night.
You do the same, love. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And that same thing happened in that video I made. Dude was like, this is not true. I'm like, why do you think it's not true? This is painfully obvious. When I go in these spaces, I see how true it is. I don't like that. You see a bunch of effeminate men. Not all. Not all. Again, Christian man here, right? So not all. But there are a bunch. Y'all know you're blind if you don't see the truth of what I'm talking about. This is obvious to anyone who's been in those environments. What's going on?
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
Good. What can I do for you?
So, just got out of a 6-month relationship. Just gonna ask, do you believe, I'm 20 years old. I know I'm so young and everything. Do you believe, a woman saying she needs space like by breaking up to like go work on her issues, on her mental health and all that, while still like really truly loving you, like being in love with you.
Say it again. You said that she needed space, and what happened?
Yeah, she broke up with me because she said she needed space to work on herself. Because she has some shit like that just came up with the relationship, making her realize that, you know, she still has a wound she needs to heal and all that. You believe like someone leaving you can be valid for that reason?
So is that a valid reason to leave a relationship?
Yeah, like if it's a true connection, real love.
How long were y'all together?
6 months.
Okay. I mean, brother, I know you're young. It's 20. 6 months. We can't start talking about true connections, true love, right? You're in the honeymoon phase still. And I would say that in the honeymoon phase, you shouldn't be having that many issues, right? 6 months is still, we're still kind of getting to know each other. So we can't even make the statement that it's true love yet. I get it though, you're 20. I probably thought the same way when I was 20. But it's too short of a timeline. So people do say that, but there's no way of telling if it is a real expression of truth or if it was just a justification to leave the relationship, right?
Yeah.
Oftentimes, people who are more avoidantly attached, someone just said it's also spring break. Oftentimes, people who are avoidantly attached will tell you stuff like that. I gotta go work on me, blah blah blah, because they don't like the expectations that come along with being in a relationship. You
Yeah,
know?
because this girl, like, she bottled stuff up a lot. She was like self-aware of it, but I guess it got to her, like with shit just getting real.
Right, right. Yeah, things get real, they run. So, yeah, I mean, it happens, man. It sucks. I think
Yeah,
we've all been there, but the best thing is just to kind of move on in this situation and just understand that's just how it goes sometimes. Unfortunately for you, you didn't waste a lot of your time because in this situation, some people are in this exact same situation you're describing, but like years into it.
yeah, man. Like my whole life, I never really. I don't know. I can't say I conquered lust. I like, you know, had my addictions and all that, but I never. She was my first everything, first body, first actual girlfriend.
Hmm.
I talked to girls in the past, you know, but I knew it's not what I wanted. So it's like a really big learning moment for me.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna sting. It's gonna sting for some time, but if it's only been 6 months, you'll be over this sooner than you think. Right?
Yeah, I know. Today was just a day that like I finally, you know, I like panicked, you know, like just how all the stories you hear about just panicking and like keep trying to get some type of closure because being left like that,
Mhm.
telling you that like nothing's wrong with you, it's just I need to work on myself.
Right.
It's just hard to believe that it's nothing with you for them to leave.
Yeah.
But
Oftentimes
it was
it's
just a day that I added them on everything because you know I don't want to keep looking at their stuff and just get reminded of that.
right. Right.
Yo, your voice makes me want to fucking come in your ass.
Let's get him out of here, mods. Don't pay attention to losers, bro. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, it's just going to be something that's going to sting for a while. Obviously, because it was a lot of firsts. You know what I mean? But yeah, you'll find deeper connections. It's going to happen. You're 20.
Yeah, you know, I just like part of me just wants to, you know, I believe in God and everything. Part of me is like very forgiving and
Mhm.
kind of want to. I know I need to move on. Like I'm still gonna better myself and everything.
Right.
Part of me just, I don't know. Do you think it's okay to just leave that door open there? Like,
I wouldn't because you're not gonna be able to effectively move on. Right? You're just not gonna be able to effectively move on. I would close it. If life surprises you on the back end, maybe. But I would not. I would treat this as if it's a done situation. Okay, because the reason why I say that is, even if she does come back, the thing that made her leave in the first place will still be present. So then she'll likely just leave again,
Yeah.
and then you start traumatizing yourself, and then it's harder for you to connect with people in the future because then you'll start to be like, are you gonna do the same thing they did?
Yeah. I guess now I just learned, like, I don't know, I had like a real reflection period that I just looked back at the whole relationship and I could see like signs that I wasn't really seeing.
Yeah, I mean that's how you grow in discernment, right? So you can make more prudent decisions moving forward.
Yeah, man, I was tweaking. This one time I tried to set a boundary and she got defensive.
Hmm.
Instead of cutting reps from there.
Right. But now you know.
Yeah. Well, that was all, man. Appreciate it.
No problem, big dog. Best of luck to you, man.
Yep, you as well. Thank you.
Huh? Solid dude, man. He'll be all right. Hello. User, if you're there, you're muted. You gotta unmute yourself. Let me see. There we go. All right, go ahead and drop you. Quite a few people in the queue. Okay. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. I wanna ask you something, right?
Okay.
And because you're a man, I believe you're gonna give me like a proper answer or advice.
I'm gonna try.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I've been dating this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
For like 3 years. We even have a baby together. So we had some problems in the beginning of our relationship, like 1 year into our relationship. And then when I got pregnant, he cheated on me while I was pregnant and stuff like that. And I couldn't move past it. I think it's because when it happened and I was pregnant, I didn't deal with the situation at that moment. But when I put to bed, that thing came back haunting me. I hope you understand.
Right.
Yes. So to a point that even when I look at him, I remember that thing. Like, I remember what happened. Because he didn't just do it. He came back and told me how he did it. Like, everything. The position, how the girl was, like, everything.
Why did he tell you all that?
I don't know. I still don't have answer for that. Like, I still don't have the answer for that. He just said I made it so easy for him to be open. He said the way I was talking to him that day, it made him to be open to a point that he had to tell me. Yes, I
Okay.
stayed. I'm sorry, I stayed.
Okay.
Right.
Got 30 seconds, love. What's the question here?
So my question is, I wanted to come to the question, sorry. So yesterday, he gave me his phone and said I should put on something for a kid on his phone, like a cartoon or something. So while I was doing it, I happened to scroll past his bank account. It was closed. Like, I was just passing looking for YouTube, right? Then what happened was he jumped, and I was so curious, like, what happened? Then he started blaming me and said, no, why did you go through my bank account? Like, what's happening? I was like, no, I already know that you don't have money. Or is it something that you're doing? So my mind is telling me that it's either he has someone that he's sending the money to, that he doesn't want to see, he doesn't want to tell me, because if I see it, maybe I'm going to get angry. But the problem is he came back to me and told me that he doesn't have money.
Okay. So what's the question?
Are you tripping to think that he's cheating again?
Yeah, he's probably cheating again. This is why we gotta leave people when they cheat the first time, because then you get a double whammy, right? It's a double whammy situation. So yeah, I would say so. Seems probable.
Okay.
Triple whammy. This is the third time.
It's been happening, so at this point, I just had enough of it.
Sometimes you got to get there, love. But yeah, I would say leave this situation for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank
Best of
you.
luck to you. All right. That's why I need my guy callers, man. All right. No more callers, actually. Hate to end on such a high note, but no more callers. If you have questions, you can drop them in the chat. I'll kick it with y'all for a little bit before I get off here. Any questions, drop them in the chat. That's what he said. I just got here. Yeah, we start at 9 p.m. Eastern time, love, so you're late. So he said I need to know what positions. That's crazy. It seemed like he was like egging you on to leave. So you're not leaving? You know I got it from the back, right? She also swallowed. Really? You still staying? Okay. That's how I imagine that went. I imagine it went like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what my imagination did when she was telling the story. You can't still be taking breath telling me something like that. I got to send you to your maker. I end your whole bloodline after some shit like that. Like, can you imagine someone cheating on you and then describing how they did it? Ooh, whiskey. No way. No way. Make your whole family sad. Like, your whole family's gonna have a depression room, like the previous caller. Whole family has a depression room now. Because you want to be cute and describe shit you shouldn't be describing. The Avatar cycle would end. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. And disrespect to the highest degree. Yeah, I can't even imagine that, bro. That made my blood boil hearing about it. The depression room was crazy. I don't even believe in that. He just throwing dirt on the floor. I'm depressed. Why use a trash can? I'm depressed. Nope. Nope. Clean it up. Clean it up. Then you going on dates and shit? Because if your room looks like that, it definitely blends into your hygiene. I should have asked, was he musty? Is she still here? Shorty with the depression. What was her name? Let's. My memory is good. Let's, was he ever musty? Had to been musty. Balls, like nether regions, musty. Possibly. You don't keep your room like that and bathe. Those two things don't go together. Am I tripping, or is that like a valid like leap? The stench in the room had to be diabolical, right? He like pre-warned her, like, I have a depression room. If you're calling it a depression room, you're too far gone. That's beyond just being junky. How are we giving it a label? It's now your depression room. Welcome to my depression room. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. No, thank you. He couldn't find a roommate to live with. Not with depression rooms. And then they're in New York. So you got to imagine there's not a lot of square footage. So nah, roommate would have kicked him out. The roaches are the roommates. Right. What was your favorite call today? Actually, let me stop streaming on YouTube. All right, YouTube.